Hi Kanukis, thanks for including us in your home practice today. We're going to be working through lunge salutations with an emphasis on our hands and feet. First half of this 30-minute slow flow is a warm-up, and then we'll go into the salutations. Today we'll begin in a comfortable seat, so you may like to sit on a blanket or a block if you have at home. Finding a comfortable position with the legs, grounding down through the tailbone, lifting up through the chest and the crown of the head. Now I invite you to take Chin Mudra, which is the first finger and the thumb touching, and allow the remaining fingers to open up, laying the back of your hands on the top of your knees. This helps us bring a point of focus and brings a little bit more awareness as well to the hands. Now I invite you to close down the eyes or soften your gaze and begin to arrive right here, right now for your slow flow. Taking time to notice how your breath is flowing, where you can feel it in your body. Noticing any areas that you can release and soften further. Perhaps it's your shoulders as you exhale. Maybe it's the tailbone as it grounds further down into the floor. Maybe it's the face. Beginning to bring some stillness to the body so that the mind can follow. Once you've found that peace, beginning to lengthen your inhale, taking it further down into the chest and belly. And exhaling slowly. Exploring this further expansion of breath and body as you find a pace and rhythm that works for you. And in your own time, taking 1 to 3 more full rounds of breath. As you gently ease back into the room, fluttering the eyelids open and preparing for some movement. So we'll take the left hand down onto the mat, lift the right arm up into the air. And as you exhale, find your side body bend. And focusing on the hands here, extending the fingers as if you're sending energy out through the fingertips. Chest faces forward as you use that grounding hand to support you. And we'll gently switch sides, maybe matching movement with breath. Inhaling the left arm up. And as you exhale, finding your side body stretch. Extending those fingers up and over, grounding down with the palm of your right hand as you settle the hips back down. Feeling that full expansion between each rib with your inhale. And coming back to center. Let's repeat that again. Inhale up for length. Exhale over for your side body stretch. And switch sides. Inhale up. Exhale over. Coming back to center. If you'd like to switch the cross of your legs, now is a great time to do it. Recentering the hips, finding your center line and a little bit of length. And we'll do a gentle forward fold. So you can creep the fingers forward. Place the hands down. Focusing on the hands today, so maybe spread the fingers out wide and feel how solid the ground is. Inhale to lengthen the spine up through the crown of the head, and exhale, you can begin to lower the belly down. You can aim to keep the chest lifted so that the spine remains straight. And just coming to your first edge, your forward fold may look quite different to mine, so honoring your body's range and allowing a little time and space to help you find the range that works for you. I like a slight tuck of the chin to keep the back of the neck long. And rising back up. Inhaling for length, exhale, settle into this comfortable seat again. Maybe observe how that body feels after some movement. And we'll make our way onto our back. So removing any props on the way down. Can come to rest on the back. Soles of the feet are going to be on the floor close to the bum so that the knees are reaching up towards the sky. Take a moment here. And then bring the knees into the chest. Give them a squeeze. I like to roll the ankles here while the feet are elevated and giving a little bit more fluidity into all those little bones and joints. Pointing, flexing the feet here with the focus on the feet. Maybe trying to stretch out those toes and expand them. Point the toes. Feel the stretch at the top of the ankle and flex the feet, feeling maybe the back of the calf work here. And you can circle the knees around to massage the lower back, or maybe you just rock side to side. Feel free to use this time and take any movements that you know you need here. Okay, we're going to draw the knees over to the right side, dropping them down for your supine twist. Arms can extend out wide in a T. And working with the hands, just make an intention or conscious decision on whether you want the palms facing up, pressing the back of the hands into the ground, or if you want the palms pressing down into the floor. This does change up the way the chest opens, so explore what works for you. And with a little bit of effort, pressing the hands down. Back of the shoulders are melting back down onto the floor as the chest rises to face the ceiling. And coming back to the breath here. And either guiding the knees with your hands, or if you'd like to use a little bit of core strength here, press down into the arms that are in a long T and lift the knees back up towards center. Take a moment to reset. And start to guide the knees over to the opposite side. opening up into this supine twist, making any little micro adjustments that you need so that the back of the shoulders can lay back down onto the mat and your hands are exactly where you'd like them to be. And return back to your breath. And return back to center, either using your hands to prop your knees back or pressing the arms into the floor. Use your core to return the knees back to center. Coming into happy baby, draw the knees towards the underarms, soles of the feet left up into the sky, and the hands can grab a hold of anywhere on the legs that are comfortable for you. I quite like to grab a hold of my big toes using my first and middle finger and drawing the tops of the thighs down as I roll the lower back down onto the mat. Return to the breath. Notice if you can feel any more opening within the hip on the exhale. And release the feet back down onto the mat. Take a moment to reset, and in your own style, make your way onto hands and knees, coming into your tabletop. Let's take the fingers out wide, spreading them as much as you can and placing them down underneath the shoulders, creating a really steady foundation here. Knees are about hip width apart and the top of the feet are pressed down into the mat here. I'm lifting the torso up away from the shoulders and not collapsing down, so keeping myself supported. Crown of the head's pointing forwards. We're finding this really strong neutral tabletop here. Spine is quite long through the back of the neck down to the tailbone. And we're going to move through cat-cow and really take time to move at your own pace, going as slowly as you need to really feel all the nooks and crannies of the spine. You might use this time to do a few neck rolls or sways. Allow yourself the freedom to listen to your body and find all the spaces that matter here. As you dome through your cat, really pressing into the palms as if you're pushing your upper back away. Breathing into all that space back there. And as you come into your cow pose, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, and again, we're raising the torso up and out of these shoulder joints, not collapsing in. Widening the collarbones to the front as the shoulders draw down and the chest lifts. And so in your own time, really taking the energy to observe what's happening with your body. And this, of course, will allow us to start noticing the fluctuations in our mind as well. And when you feel you've found some more space, Coming back into center. You can lay the forearms down in front of you as if they're on railroad tracks, so they're parallel to each other. My hands are still spread out and firmly planted onto the mat here. Hips are over knees as I begin to draw the chest down for a puppy pose or melting heart. Your forehead may come down. Inhale here. Again, feel what's happening in the body. And coming back over the forearms. And returning back into melting heart, pressing the chest back down towards the mat. Maybe for you, the chin might come to rest on the mat. Every range is a bit different. And lifting the torso back up, remaining on the forearms. And one more time, finding your melting heart, pressing into those hands, using your forearms for support if you need to. And from here, you can creep the fingers further back, allow the hips to come down towards the heels, finding your child's pose. Your knees may be wider than the hips. How wide just depends on you. And we'll do some regressed vinyasas. So from here, we're going to lift up with the inhale and shift forward, exhaling down through your supported plank and chaturanga, elbows close to the ribs. Inhale up for your baby cobra, squeezing the shoulder blades down and back. Exhale to release and make your way up through tabletop back into this child's pose. Doing that 3 more times. Inhaling up and forward, lowering down on the exhale. Inhaling for your baby cobra and releasing to push back into child's pose. 2 more times at your own pace. Feel free to pause in a certain pose, take as long as you like with the transitions. And maybe you add a different variation. Make this vinyasa yours. And once you've completed your last round of this regressed vinyasa, meeting in child's pose. Going into our first down dog. So tucking the toes underneath, taking notice of the hands, spreading them out wide, and pressing into the hands as we lift up the hips. Slight bend in the knees here as we find some length in the back first, drawing the chest through the arms. Biceps are by the ears as I raise my tailbone into the sky as if I'm arching my lower back. Feeling that solid connection with the mat through my hands. And you can begin to pedal out the feet here, starting to bring length to the back of the legs, maybe dropping the heels one at a time, coming up onto the toes, or swaying the hips side to side. Doing whatever you need to do to find your down dog shape. And once you feel like you've brought enough movement here, coming into stillness, drawing the heels down. They might not touch the floors, mine doesn't today, and that's okay. Begin to step forward, tracking towards the front, hands finding your forward fold. Allowing the crown of the head to fall forward, and your arms can dangle, or you may like to grab a hold of opposite elbows. We're just trying to allow the neck to hang nice and long. And take a moment to notice the feet here. Can you ground down through the toes and the sole of the foot? Are you bringing an even amount of weight to the left and right foot? Is your weight mostly in your heels, or is it towards the top? Can you find that center or evenness? And when you do, that's when we'll roll up to standing, keeping that sense of evenness throughout the sole of the foot. And inhaling the arms up and over, exhaling them to heart center. Your hands can come into prayer here, pressing the palms firmly into each other, again paying attention to what our hands and feet are doing. Inhale up, palms to meet. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips, leading with the chest. Inhale, halfway lift, keeping the crown of the head pointing forward. Exhale, step back with the right foot, lower the knee and untuck the toe. Find your grounding here by pressing into the front foot and rise to standing. Inhaling up through the length of the fingers, exhaling, you can settle in further. You can protect the lower back here. I'm bringing my lunge up and over the back knee. But still pressing in through the hip. And frame the front foot, tuck the back toe, step back into your high plank and vinyasa. Right foot forward in between the hands, making a conscious effort about how you're placing the foot down. And find your center, rise up to standing, pressing into the foot and the back of the foot. Centering those hips, pressing in through the left hip flexor and extending up through the fingers, softening the shoulders. Frame the front foot, tuck the back toe, step forward into your forward fold. Grounding through the feet, raise up to standing, send that energy up, out through the fingertips and overhead. Exhale to prayer. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, crown of the head points forward, belly button tucks in. Exhale, left foot behind, consciously placing the foot behind, lowering the knee, grounding down through the legs that are supporting us. Inhale up. Exhale, settle in, feeling strong and solid in this shape. And frame the front foot with the hands, step back into your high plank, and do your vinyasa. Find your down dog, and then step the left foot forward in between the hands. Lower the back knee, untuck those toes. Find your stability, pressing into the front foot and back leg. Inhale for length, exhale, settle in. Maybe slight tuck of the tailbone here, giving us a further stretch in the right hip flexor. And frame that front foot, tuck the back toe, forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale to heart center. So that is our series of lunge salutations. You can continue to do that sequence a few times to warm up for a nice, simple, slow flow. We will end our standing sequence before our wind down with a few chairs. Great way to pay attention to the feet and hands. So coming to the top of your mat, bring the feet close together. Maybe the big toes slightly touch and create a little bit space in between the feet here. Ground down into the feet. Really feel how solid the ground is underneath the pads of the feet. I'm going to take the hands back as we inhale, as we exhale, bending through the knees, lowering the hips. Bringing the weight now into the heels. You can lift up the toes. What's happening with the feet here? You're going to activate the legs here, so it's a feeling of drawing them in, at the same time drawing them out. Chest is going to stay high. Fingers are reaching out further away, sending all that warm energy and heat out through the fingertips. Maybe you feel a tingling in the palms. And let's draw the hands to prayer here. And forward fold for a little bit of rest. Gonna go back into chairs. So inhale the arms by the hips. As you exhale, lower down by bending the knees, drawing the hips towards the floor. Bring the hands to prayer. And we'll twist. So pressing the palms together, the right elbow will go out to the left knee. Inhale, exhale. Come back to center, chest faces forward. And left elbow hooks around the outside of the right knee. Recentering the hips here. Exhale, forward fold. Whew. And we can wind down. So coming in to a comfortable seat. Coming maybe into a different version of a comfortable seat than you did last time. Today I'm going to sit on a block and come into Baddha Konasana, or this butterfly pose. Coming back to the breath here, allowing the body to settle down after the standing sequence. Maybe your heart's racing after those chair poses. Can you feel the pulse going out through the hands and feet? Turning to the breath. So if you'd like to use more time to add more movements to your practice, you're more than welcome to do that right now. If you'd like to go into a Shavasana, that's also an option. Or you can follow me as we wind down this practice and close it together. So always ending practice with a moment of gratitude. Thanking yourself for taking time to pay attention to what the body and mind is doing. Maybe a newfound appreciation for the hands and feet that help carry us throughout the day. That was a short, slow flow with Kanuka home practice. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.